Hey all. Alright, so as you all know, I really want this project to have a good outcome. I mean, subjectively, objectively. I wanted to have a good outcome. And so, I'm taking steps and being careful and trying to keep from stepping on any rakes or gluing my fingers to the airplane or any of the other things that can often happen when I'm back here fiddling around like this, making my airplanes. It's a passion project. This airplane especially, I guess you'd say. But, I'm an aviation enthusiast. And, this is what I like to do. I've got a handful of favorite airplanes. I mean, I like anything that flies, really. And, that covers a lot of ground, but I've got a handful of just favorites, I guess you'd say. And I think I've mentioned which ones they are. But I'll go again. I mean, P-40. I mean, it was in the war from the very start, part of our national defense. From day one, they managed to get a couple in the air at Pearl Harbor. It's important, or it was in the day, and the United States, wouldn't be the United States today if it weren't for some of them fellers and ladies who don't want to sell the WAPS pilots or the women air service pilots or the factory workers short. All of that mattered tremendously. I don't want to get too much on here. I just need a little bit of super glue. But the P-40 was in the fight and right from day one in the Pacific and early enough in the European War. Make sure I got this on the right track here. Okay, we got proper rotation. Oopsie. Now I just need to pop in the landing gear lock. There she goes. Make sure the wheel is straight. The last thing I need now is to get things crooked at this stage. Okay, I'll put the other wheel on and see what we've got. Now, the landing gear geometry configuration, could have been better. And I finally just settled for what I have, which means the landing gear doesn't properly retract into the wheel wells, but it is posable and will stay where I put it. So I can have the gear, the aircraft hanging, posed as in flight, with the gear partially retracted as if going up or coming down. With all the armament hanging off of the airplane, it would be taking off. You wouldn't land, in those days, you didn't land a fighter plane or any other plane really with any bombs on the racks or anything explosive. It was hard enough just to fly these things and land them, being that they were high performance warbirds, to land them safely in a clean configuration without having to add the misery of an unbalanced load or explosive devices dangling down under the airplane as they're trying to land it. So they would push the pickle button before they got back to base. if they were still carrying stuff, if they didn't make it to the target for whatever reason and still had their full war load, they would just jettison everything and land in a clean configuration. So if I hang it and pose the gear partially collapsed, you'll just have to assume she's taking off, not landing. But it's not a big deal either way. Right, so is it time to glue the guns into the wings? Let me think. I still have to throw clear coat. I still have to put decals, lots of decals, hundreds of decals. But it's the clear coat that concerns me. If I go to put clear coat on when the guns are on, it can affect the way they look. So for now, I just put the lock barrels in, the ones that lock the landing gear down, so that we can stand her up and stick some more stuff on her. I got it upside down. Maybe we'll do this. Port and starboard. Let's see. Red left port, left wing. Red light, port. Airplane's upside down, so left is right, I think. We're gonna go with that. So I think this is the one that goes on this pylon. They're just, you know, a little different from each other. So you don't want to go on there. These wires got a little bent. The posts, not the clips. And when that happens, and they don't line up, well, then I'm in a situation. So let's tilt it that way so I can kind of see where I'm going here. Get on there. Here we go. All right, that's on. She should stay on. I don't know. What do I know? There we go. That's probably a little better. I don't know. Now I'm doing stuff to it. Yeah, so the straps seem to line up with the clips, which is always good. You want that. Always want your straps to line up with your clips, fellers. Alright, let's see if we can get this one on gently. Right? I said gently. Where are you going? Get on there. That one too. There we go. Alright, so they just fit on there like so. Like such. It shouldn't fall off. The belly tank. I'm going to leave the belly tank off. She goes right there, sort of, more or less. But I'm going to leave it off because, again, I haven't sprayed the clear coat on yet, and trying to get it to spray up and under that tank and on the top of the tank and everywhere else, it wouldn't work, and I'd have runs. We don't want runs, fellers. That's the worst thing you get with paint. Well, voids are bad, but runs are probably the worst thing. Voids are, you know, when you don't have equal coverage everywhere. Now, you might notice that it's not exactly even coverage with the aluminum, but I did that, you know, I tend to do that because I like the sort of look at it of aluminum after it's oxidized a little bit. Aluminum doesn't oxidize like copper, but it does oxidize, and it gets powdery and whitish. And so by spraying the aluminum on in such a way that you can see those areas of whitishness through the paint, is for effect. It's for effect. Now, I could be pulling that right out of my, but I'm not. It's literally. I did that on purpose. I meant to do that, fellers. That's what I'm saying. I didn't just fall off the stairs on my bicycle. and land on my noggin. I actually meant to do that, so there you go. Yeah. So a little bit more striping yet to do, and I think you can see a couple of spots like just as I can here. So we need to line up a little bit with this spot. That means a stripe right along here. And I'll just, this template comes in handy because it's cut to all those same shapes that we intended to make with our filler. So it should line up when we come to try and delineate those edges with black line. So we always keep the templates around. You don't just toss them the second you're done templating with them. Sometimes they come in handy down the road. You can't, you never know. So I keep the templates until I'm absolutely and completely finished with the project. And then I shove them in the box that the airplane came in, and I keep that for another 6 years sometime. I don't, I'm bad at throwing stuff away is what I'm saying. I'm not a hoarder or a pack rat. I just, I hang on to things a little too long is all. I don't keep them forever. I just, I'll stumble across that box 6 years from now in here, and I'll say, I'm still keeping that, huh? Well, you know what? Today's the day we get rid. Today's the day we toss that out. So that's how I roll. That's what I'm saying here, fellas. That's my thing. The propeller, I finished the propeller. Well, except for the decals, it gets the Hamilton standard ovals. We'll get those when they come, and the warning labels. I can't remember on the Hamilton standard exactly what the warning label says. Probably says watch out for the prop when it's swinging, something like that. It might say, push down while turning. I don't know what it says. So maybe in a 1/16 scale with a magnifier, I might be able to read what they say. Callie's pretty good at doing her decal thing. I get some nice sharp images. Nice crisp decals from her, so maybe we can do that when they show up. Now I want to flip this over. I've got the gear on. It's probably had enough time to set up, gluing the legs onto the posts. I had an idea when I was going to do the landing gear and have it close, properly. So I was going to insert these into the inner doors and let them work as a lever, a pressure device for when the wheel hits this part of it, it would pull the door, it would pull the door down and closed. It was a great idea, and it would still work if the gear fit properly, as it does not. And I'm not a terrific modeler. I'm okay. But I seem to consistently just miss the mark in certain aspects of a build, and I'm still working on improving at that. But this is another case in point. So I worked at it, tried to get it to fit. It seemed like it was fitting. Things were working. All right, we'll get to the point now we can proceed with our assembly. Went on with a few more steps, came back to the landing gear, and suddenly it didn't want to work. And I thought, well, what happened there? I don't know. But something happened, and now I don't have proper closure. But I'm not going to worry about it. The airplane looks fine, and it will look fine with the gear down for the photograph session that we're going to do, the pictures we take of our final effort. Now, I've got black stripes coming for the outside borders of the yellow on top and bottom and on the tail. I've got all the insignia, the big stars and bars, obviously the Hun Hunter text and the nose art, the blue 40s, the blue number 40 that goes on either side of the fuselage. and the reg numbers that go on the tail. Along with that is all of the stencil, all of the warning labels and so forth that go all over the airplane. So I'm going to have lots of fun decaling when it comes time for that. After decaling, we get another shot of clear, and then I can start working on getting the pilot fitted to the cockpit, getting the gun sight fitted to the cockpit, and getting the canopy, my cracked canopy, fitted to the cockpit. But I'm not, I'm not going to worry about that either right now. All this stuff is what it is. We're going to do the best we can to finish up, and the outcome is the outcome. Okie dokie. So I guess, should I flip it over? Do you want to see? You probably want to see what the prop looks like, don't you? I know this camera angle isn't the best. There she goes. I've got the tips yellered on the face. The backs don't get the paint. Only the front, only the faces of the blades get the paint. So there it is. The prop turned out really good. I'm really happy with how the propeller turned out. If I had that outcome even, remotely as good as this for the Corsair project, I'll be really happy. But I have a program now. There's my process right there. That's what we're going to do next time too. Worked out real well. Now, if you want to go back and look at that video, I think I talk about assembling the propeller a couple of different times, and how the hub goes together, how the blades are made, and all that stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let me. I really don't like handling this with. All right, what did I do? Here we go. Bam. Great. I got one glove left. Now, why is it when you buy stuff like pairs of gloves, you end up with one? Like, they don't count how pairs work, or maybe I figure some people have 3 ends. I don't know. I can't figure it out. You know, all right, what happens? Tell me. Put it in the comment section. There you go. All right, let's flip this down. I'll stand it over here. There she is. Okay. So the gear should line up from the top down. I can't see, but these should. Okay, let me take a look.